Hey class, welcome back. All right, so today we're going to talk about starting to budget. This is actually a really long lesson. Okay, it's like 4 pages, I think, in your notebook. And I'm not going to do it all in one video for that reason. Okay, so I'm going to do this page and the next page in the first video, and then I'm going to do a part 2 video with the remaining part of the lesson. And that's just so that it's A, easier for me to upload, and B, easier for you to watch. So if you want to watch it in chunks, you can feel free to do that. Okay, so we're going to start talking about some terminology relating to budgets, and then we're going to do a few examples, of course, related to that as well. Okay, so I think I should maybe just turn on my Do Not Disturb. Hang on one second. There we go. So that if anyone messages me, it doesn't bother us. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do here to do this matching activity is I'm going to do some highlighting. Okay, I'm going to look through here, A to F, and I'm going to find the keywords in the phrases here that help us to know what we're looking at. So if you look at the left-hand side, you're going to see that a lot of these have some similar terms in them. So you're going to see expenses shows up a lot of times, and income shows up a couple times as well. And you're also going to see that the words regular or recurring happen, and so do the words variable or unexpected. Okay, so something that's regular is something that would be recurring or expected, and then the variable or unexpected would be stuff that we wouldn't be able to predict. Income is money that's coming in, whereas expenses are money that's going out. Okay, so we're going to do some highlighting. So in A, we can see that expenses is a keyword, and then regular basis. Okay, and then in B, we're talking about something predictable, and we can also see the word income here. Okay, in C, we can say that we have actually kind of both going on, right? We have income and expenses, so this is going to be like a little bit of a unique one, so I'm going to just star it so we know it's a little bit different. And then D has expenses that change. Okay, E has unpredictable expenses, and F has income that changes. Okay, and on here it says is not regular. Okay, so those are some of our keywords. Now the reason I did that, is because I want us to be able to kind of match these up pretty easily. So starting with A, we have expenses that occur on a regular basis. So that's what we're going to be looking for on the left. Anything that has expense, that's regular. So remember that regular and recurring are things that we expect, and so that would be A right there. Okay, so recurring expense is something that is something you have to pay for that happens regularly. For B, we have predictable income. Okay, so that means it's going to be, pardon me. Sorry, ladies. Okay, it's going to be income that comes regularly, so we can see that that falls right here under regular income. Now, C, we starred, that was our unique one, right? And so if you remember when I was explaining this activity, I didn't actually ever highlight budget, and that's because it doesn't have any of those keywords that we were looking for. And so that's where C is going to go. It actually defines a budget, okay? So a budget is a balance statement of projected income or expenses. We're going to dive into what does that mean a lot more in a little bit, just down here in this paragraph. So let's finish the activity and then I'll explain it. All right, D, expenses that change from period to period. Okay, so we're looking for a statement about expenses and that change. Okay, now you might be looking here and seeing variable and unexpected. They kind of mean similar things. Now, the key word here is that they change from period to period. Okay, meaning that they're always happening, but they're changing over time. And so they aren't unexpected because they happen all the time, right? But they just might be a different value each time, so that makes it a variable expense. If you're confused about that one, message me. That is probably one of the more confusing definitions, but yeah, I think that should make sense, but if it doesn't, just message me. E talks about unpredictable expenses, so here we go. That's the other type of expenses we were just looking at, okay? And the reason we can match that up so confidently is because unpredictable and unexpected are kind of the same thing. And also because here's the other major keyword, from time to time, okay? So not all of the time, not regularly. So variable expenses are expenses that happen regularly, but just the amount will change, whereas unexpected expenses may not happen all the time. Okay, and then last but not least, F, let's make sure this lines up properly. Income that changes over time and or is not received on a regular basis. So we're talking about income, so that lines up. That's changing. Remember how we talked about variable means change? Okay, so there we go. That's our definition set. These are really important terms. I just wanted to do like a mix and match to make it a little more interesting than writing out your definitions, but those are important to know, so please know them. Okay, the point of a budget, as you can see here written out, is that you're going to be spending less money than you're earning. That's why we make budgets, is so we can save money. At the very least, it'll prevent us from going into debt, but the best case scenario is definitely that we can save money towards a goal or for the future. Okay. If you aren't able to reach the goals that you set out for yourself when creating a budget, you either need to increase your income, which is usually by getting another job, or decrease your spending, usually on non-essential items. Now, no one likes to decrease their spending, but it's often necessary, so we're going to talk about that a lot in this unit, or like in the next couple lessons. And so, that's what a budget is. It's looking at what are your expenses, what are you spending, and where can you change that if need be, and what needs to change. Okay, and so you're kind of planning out what you'll be able to spend on each type of item that you would need to spend money on, and we're going to talk about how to figure that out later on in this booklet. Okay, let's just change colors here. I don't know, for fun, whatever. We are going to classify each of the following items as income or expense, and then we're going to come back to the chart a second time and then classify each income or expense as regular or variable. Okay, so just to practice those definitions that we just looked at. So first of all, we're going to look at whether this is an income or an expense, and then regular or variable. So first of all, paycheck, that's income, right? That's when you're getting paid. Okay, next, John's birthday gift. That's an expense. You have to spend money on a birthday gift, so you're losing money, so it makes it an expense. Commission, that would be income, okay? So you're earning money on something that you sold, so there we go. That's money coming into your account. Babysitting, that would also be income, okay? These aren't all, for the record, like they're not all one person, okay? These are just options of things that could be income or expenses, okay? A paycheck. Again, you're getting paid. That's income. Car insurance, that's something that you have to pay in Manitoba to AutoPack in other provinces and whatever countries to other businesses, but that's an expense. Savings, $50. Great, you put money into your savings. I put that in the wrong column because I can't talk and write at the same time still. Savings. Okay, so while you're saving, that's true, but to save, you have to put money somewhere else, right? So usually in like a long-term savings account or that kind of thing, so you couldn't spend that money on anything else, so it's kind of like you're spending it on your savings, if that makes any sense. Okay, rent. You're definitely spending money on rent. Okay, cell phone bill, same thing. That's money that you're giving away to acquire a service, in this case, cell phone service. And then last but not least, restaurant bill. Same thing, you're spending money to get food. So that's an expense. All right, now let's go back through, and we're going to talk about whether these are regular or variable. Okay, paycheck, we sure hope that's regular. Okay, of course, you want to have a job that is paying you on a regular interval, so hopefully you're working like a pretty consistent amount of hours per week. Of course, it could be variable, but usually a paycheck is pretty standard. Also, because of this crazy stylus, I'm going to try and do some abbreviations here. Okay, so for regular, I'm just going to put an R like this. And for variable, I'm just going to put VAR like this, okay? All right, so now, John's birthday gift, that was an expense, and that is definitely a variable expense because John's birthday is only once a year, so it's not going to be like a regular monthly thing, okay? Commission, that is variable, definitely variable, because if you work a sales job, then you're not going to sell the same amount every month or every week or every year even, so it's going to change from time to time as you sell different amounts of stuff. Babysitting. This could be either, okay? So we could have a regular or a variable situation, and that's because you might have like a regular contract with a family, maybe babysit their kids every Thursday from 6 till 9, but you also might just get called up to babysit randomly here or there. Okay, a paycheck, again, we're going to hope that's a regular expense. That does not look like an R. Regular income. We're hoping that's regular because you're working the same amount every week or 2 weeks or month or whatever. Car insurance, that's definitely regular expense, right? Because then like the car insurance amount is the same every time. Okay. Now I'm also realizing that probably I should have worded this question a little bit differently, which is why I sounded like I was hesitating a lot when I was talking about car insurance. It's because actually we should be talking about car insurance as recurring. Okay, so just write in that word instead of just R. Okay, so remember that recurring, if you go back up here to our definitions, our expenses are categorized into 3 types: recurring, variable, and unexpected. So that's really what I should have written in our notes. So I'm going to do that in the rest of the example. Okay, because that could be the case, right? Like you could have a recurring expense that's the same amount every month, or you could have an expense that happens every month but the value changes, which is variable, or you could have unexpected expenses. Okay, so my bad. If you need me to write that out, let me know. Okay, but hopefully I've explained that well enough. Okay, savings. We hope this is recurring. Okay, like best case scenario again is that you're saving the same amount every month, but if you are not, it could be variable. Okay, but again, you're hoping to be saving every month, so this should be a monthly expense and not unexpected. Rent, definitely recurring. Okay, you're gonna pay the same amount to live in an apartment or a condo or whatever it is every month, so that's definitely a recurring expense. Cell phone bill, that's also recurring. Okay, because again, you pay the same amount every month to have a cell phone. And then a restaurant bill is either going to be variable or unexpected. Okay, so the reason for that is because you might go out to eat a lot, some people, and so that would make it a variable expense, because even if you go out to eat a lot, the amount is going to be changing all the time. But you also might not go out to eat a lot, some people don't, and so that would make it an unexpected expense. Okay, all right. Again, if you got confused about this whole thing, I'm sorry. That was not my intention at all. I should have rewritten the example. Please message me if you have questions. Okay, so next page. For each expense, we're going to circle each recurring expense and box each variable expense. Okay, so I'm just going to do those things in the instructions to remind ourselves what we're circling and what we're boxing. Okay, so again, we're looking for things that are regular expenses, and we're going to put a circle around those. And then things that change from month to month, we're going to put a box around those. Okay, so car payment, you're going to pay the same amount every month. That's definitely a regular expense, recurring expense. Okay, groceries. Now this is kind of an interesting one already. It could be recurring because you might have like a subscription to like a community share or to a local farmer that brings you meat or eggs or dairy or anything like that. But a lot of people just go to the grocery store, most people I would say, and then their amount is changing every month. They have to get groceries all the time, but the amount would change. Okay, video games, definitely variable. Hopefully most people are not buying, $80 or $100 worth of video games every month. But even if they were, it would be a changing amount, right? Because video games all cost different amount of money. Insurance. So that could be car insurance, house insurance, other insurance. That's going to be a recurring expense because you get charged like the same amount every month by insurance companies. Clothing. That's definitely also variable, right? So you're not going to buy the exact same dollar value of clothes every month. So that's variable. Gas. Okay, so some people drive like the same route to work every month, every day of the month even, and they only drive the same places every Tuesday and Thursday and Sunday or whatever. So for them, they might have a variable, that's not true. There we go. They might have a recurring expense, okay? But most people, like probably you and me and everyone who's listening to this video, we don't drive exactly the same route every day or have like a pattern that way. And so our gas value will change month to month. Prescription drugs. In an ideal world, this would be a recurring amount, but some people do have changes to their medication pretty regularly, and so then their amount of medicine they're buying is changing, so their value changes. So again, could be both. Gifts, that's definitely variable. Unless you have 12 people who are each born in a different month that you always buy presents for, which is highly unlikely, the gifts are going to be a changing expense. Cell phone bill, we talked about this in the last example, that's always the same every month, and so that makes it a recurring expense. Movies, definitely variable, okay? Again, unless you have some sort of habit of always going every Tuesday to the movies with your friend or boyfriend or whatever, then it could be recurring, but for vast majority of people, that's definitely variable. The gym membership would be recurring because it's a bill, like your cell phone bill or like car payments. You're paying the same amount every month to use the gym. A vacation definitely changes every time you go on vacation, the amount that you paid, so that's definitely a variable expense. Eating out, again, definitely variable. If you go to Stella's one week and then you go to Magic Bird Fried Chicken another week and then, I don't know, Blackbird another week, those are just some restaurants I like, then you're going to spend a different amount every time. Rent is a recurring expense because, again, you pay the same amount of rent every month to live in wherever you live. Same thing with utilities. They're usually pretty pretty much the same every month, but there are things like if you had people over to stay with you, or you went on a vacation and turned your utilities off, that kind of thing, then it could change. So this is one that could be both. For those of you who don't know, utilities is like electricity, power for your lights, that kind of stuff. Okay, and then car repairs. Oh, I hope they sure are variable for you. If they're recurring, I think you need a new car, but car expenses should not be recurring. Okay, so we did these examples. I know that was a lot of me talking about recurring and variable, and you're probably really over it, but it's because we just need to make sure we understand the difference between A, income and expenses, so when you're getting money or when you're spending money, and B, things that are predictable and regular, or things that are unpredictable or irregular, or both. Okay, and we need to have those skills to make a budget. Okay, they're really important. That's why I spent so long on them. If you're confused at all, message me. All right, so now we're going to just talk about some priorities when you're making a budget, okay? Now, again, I've already written it in your notes, but your things that you prioritize might be different than mine, and that is fine, okay? Don't worry about that. For me, the things that I would prioritize are rent, groceries, utilities, gas, and cell phone bill. Okay, those are important things that I need to pay for every month in order to keep living my life in the lifestyle that I have. If you chose different things, that's fine, okay? But one thing you are gonna notice is that all 5 of the things that I chose are all recurring expenses, okay? That's because I have to pay them every month in order to use my cell phone, in order to live where I live, etc. Okay? If I had a 6th one, I would have chosen gym membership, but that's just me. Okay, but these are all super important so that I can eat food and sleep in a safe place and that kind of stuff. All right, so that's the first part of this video. Okay, I'm going to start a new one right away. It's going to talk about actually making a budget with some specific examples about savings and that sort of thing. Now that we're done the terminology. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.